Hello guys, NautoAce here, and I want to give my thoughts on Konami's announcement of a classic remaster, let's just say that, of Castlevania. So if you've been following the internet, Konami announced two classic Castlevania game coming for the PS4, and keyword here is exclusive. It was also on the PlayStation blog. They announced it, and they even said on the PlayStation blog, exclusively on the PS4. So what are those two games? So Konami basically announced they called this one Castlevania Requiem, Symphony of Night, and Rondo of Blood. So of course the name kind of familiar. If it's not, then here's a little bit of a back story. Symphony of Night is a direct sequel to Castlevania Rondo of Blood, and it debuted in the PlayStation. It was one of the games that was introduced in the Castlevania universe, the Metroidvania style, which is it plays an action game, but you level up and you go to places. It's like Metroid. That's just Metroidvania, because Metroid basically done this. Of course, the NES Metroid, and then it was been remake, and then the excuse me, and then of course the 3D one. But the Metroid did it. Symphony of Night was the first game, and then there have been other games done this. Dawn of Sorrow, Aria of Sorrow, the one with Justin Belmont. It's something like that. I mean, later on it was evolved. Lord of Shadow 2, Castlevania with Gabriel Belmont. That was basically quote unquote an open world now, but again you can see the familiarity. Basically, you go to places, new abilities, makes you go to access other places. It's the same deal with this one. And the other one is a classic game that's exclusive in Japan, believe it or not. This game was never released outside of Japan. It was first originally released on the PC Engine, or what in America called the TurboGrafx. Never came out in America. The one in the Super Nintendo was called Castlevania Dracula's X, and basically that's sort of a remix, let's just say that, a remix of Rondo of Blood. So it's not really sort of the original version, but it's like a Super Nintendo version. So okay, think of it as Marvel Superhero, the fighting game, the arcade version, and then Marvel Superhero for the Super Nintendo, which is a Final Fight type game, way different. It's something like that what they did. The first time ever this came out, believe it or not, was on the PSP called Dracula X Chronicles, which is you unlock one of the game, which is Rondo of Blood, that's what the PSP one is. It's a 3D remake of Rondo of Blood. So that's basically what those two games are, and those are quite popular from what I heard. Especially Rondo of Blood was so popular that people really wanted to play. So I guess you can say, outside from the PSP Dracula X Chronicles, finally it's a game of its own, and of course Symphony of Night. So like I said before, again, it depends on your position, controversy or not. For me, I don't think it's a controversy, nothing personal. It is a PS4 exclusive, and they really emphasize on the PS4 exclusive. And a little teasers, I am going to give my thoughts on exclusivity. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Is it good for the consumer? Is it good for the business? Or vice versa? But that's going to be a different vlog there, so stay tuned for that one. So of course, the lingo here, instead of awesome, finally, Castlevania is already out on a console. That's a keyword, a console. Finally, once again, to get to play Symphony of Night, one of the best Metroidvania game, and finally, Rondo of Blood, an official Rondo of Blood without buying the Dracula Chronicles X. So outside from that, so you think that, oh, good, awesome, Konami's listening to the fan. There's a game, it's finally coming out. It's on the console. But of course, since it's a PlayStation 4 exclusive, the lingo there is, oh, it's not on the Switch. Well, I guess I'm not going to buy it because I'm not going to Switch. I get to each of their own, but I'm going to quote from Max923, and I like what he always says it. Play games, don't play consoles. Okay, so if you don't know what that means, just play the game. It's on that. If it's a certain console, just play it on that console. Vice versa. If the option is lacking, what can you do? There you go. But of course, the problem with that one, to some extent, I kind of agree. But I still like that quote what Max did, and I do follow that. Play games, not console is. What if you're a person who only has one console? If you only have a Switch only, PS4 only, Xbox only, maybe you don't have any console, you want it on PC, I can understand. But to counter to that, to play devil's advocate, how many people or household only has one console? I mean, it could be a lot. It could be a lot, but I kind of believe, and again, I have no proof, most people, including myself, will have multiple consoles. Why do we? Well, if you're a very passionate, hardcore video game gamer fan, you love video game, you are gonna eventually buy multiple console. I kinda, in the past, when I bought a PlayStation, I also bought an N64, PlayStation 2, GameCube. You get the idea. And of course, again, I know a lot of people don't like to hear this, but for me personally, the reason why, in the case with Nintendo, is because of the first party game. That's it. I have a PlayStation Portable. I have a 3DS, DS, Game Boy, Vita. Again, this is just me personally, but I kind of get that. But to some extent, the majority of people, I believe, do have multiple console. To some extent, to the right ones. Again, to some extent. That's why I just believe on the word of play games, not console. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say from there. But should this game be multi-platform, in my opinion? Yes, it should be. Kind of makes sense. You know, I think it makes more sense. Castlevania has a lot of history, especially in a Sony platform and a Nintendo platform, believe it or not. And I'll get to that why. But also put it on the Xbox. Just put it there for the Xbox owner and, of course, PC. So you might think, wow, Castlevania is a big name. Konami could make an easy money for this. What's going on? Why aren't they doing this? And apparently there was been more than meets the eye. And the Konami press release, apparently some people got it and basically said that we were working close with a partnership. We're working closely with Sony as a partnership to help us build this game. So again, the word you can hear there, partnership, working close with Sony. So what does that mean? Well, for me, I can only think of one solution for this. And that is, maybe two, but I'm thinking one. One could be Sony gave a lot of money to Konami and Konami just bent down. They bent down, said, sure, we'll make it exclusive for PlayStation for how long? Maybe 6 months, a year, or permanent. I mean, that's a possibility. Or two, Sony basically is helping them not only fund the game, maybe develop the game, which is wait, Sony develop games? Well, they do have a developer, but not so much. But I'm just guessing mostly it's going to be they're funding the game. So sounds familiar? Bayonetta 2, Bayonetta 3, Dead Rising 2. To some extent, Dead Rising 2. To some extent, not so much with Off the Record, that became multi-platform. Dead Rising 3, to some extent, Dead Rising 4, it went also to the PS4. You know, and of course went out to Vancouver Capcom. And Street Fighter 5. Those games have something in common. One of the big three flipped the bill. Microsoft flipped the bill on the Dead Rising series. That's why they're always, to some extent, it's exclusive for the Xbox. Well, most of them. Street Fighter 5 is exclusive to Sony because Sony paid the money. Bayonetta 2 and 3. Nintendo was funding the game. So again, does it really make sense if one of the big three flip the bill to fund your game and be multi-platform? Is that possible? Maybe, but it takes time. Case in point, Shimune 3 and Final Fantasy VII Remake. If you don't know, E3 2015, Sony is help Yu Suzuki on developing Shimune 3. So chances are there might be some exclusivity deal. It's not very exclusive for the PS4. It's just that there is some deal they're getting. Same goes with Final Fantasy VII Remake. There have been talks about it. So that is the theory of why Castlevania Requiem is a PlayStation exclusive. Is it going to be a time exclusive? Hopefully. But are they going to announce that? Probably not for a while. Do I really matter for me? No. Because for me, I'm going to buy it for the PlayStation 4. So I'm already fixed. Why? Because I like my trophy. I like the 4K. Ooh, graphic core. PlayStation 4 Pro Enhanced. There you go. And basically the trophy. Plus, I can record the game if I'm allowed to. Make a video on my main channel. I mean, some of my games were basically on my PS4. Share Factory. That's just me personally. Can I record gameplay footage on the Switch? Only for 30 seconds and only selected games. I could probably do it in the Xbox, but it's only within 10 minutes. Sony, you could do it up to 1 hour if I wanted to. Just saying that. But again, that's for me personally. But would it make more sense if this was multi-platform? Most definitely, because Castlevania is a synonymous name. It's a big name that even going to the PC and Xbox, everybody know what Castlevania is. Yes, they did start it with the Nintendo with Simon Belmont and Trevor Belmont. Then there have been Castlevania on the Game Boy. There was some then. There was even Sophia Belmont, but she's very obscure. But the two main ones was Simon and Trevor. And then of course the Super Nintendo, granted Richter. But then who the heck is Richter? No one even knows Richter until Symphony of Night, which is when was Symphony of Night? It was a PlayStation 1 exclusive at a time in 1997 or 98. I can't remember. Good game, definitely good game. I would recommend it. I would. That should be in a PlayStation Classic. Just saying that. But again, whatever. And that's when a lot of people knew who Richter was because of Symphony Night, not Rondo Blood. Rondo Blood was in the PC Engine, and then nobody knew it was because it was a Japanese exclusive. So it's kind of sad that, yes, that's Richter Belmont. People know him associated with Symphony Night, which is that game associated with the PlayStation. Again, it is what it is. So, like I said, Castlevania, it made big impact in both PlayStation and Nintendo. Have been a lot of Castlevania games that impact the PlayStation. Yes, there is. Well, not so much with Simon Belmont, except they only knew him there because he's redhead. And remember, there was even Castlevania Judgment, which is a third-party perspective 3D arena fighting game, and Belmont there was just redhead. There's also Trevor. Again, whatever. But yeah, Castlevania Chronicles, the PlayStation 1. It's definitely remix of the original one. It plays the same as the NES one. It's really hard, but you can actually save the game. But that's what Simon Belmont. He's a redhead, which okay, whatever. I like that. Then the blonde one, different story there. And like I said, Richter was more synonymous on the PlayStation. And then, of course, everybody knows in the PS2 era, Castlevania, Lament of Innocent. Leon Belmont, the very first Belmont ever. That's a PlayStation. That was a PlayStation 2 exclusive. By the way, another good game. So, again, Leon Belmont, not a lot of people actually know that guy, but his game was good. The story was good. Like I said, the very first Belmont, PlayStation 2 exclusive. And then you might say, well, so Trevor, I guess at least Trevor is Nintendo known for Castlevania Belmont only on Nintendo. Not so quite, believe it or not. Not so quite. Curse of Darkness. Did you know that another PS2 Castlevania game? It's basically God of War. Not really God of War, but it's open to some extent, sort of an open world in the castle. Curse of Darkness. You don't play as Belmont in that game. You play as some guy named Hector. But guess who's the Belmont in that game? Trevor Belmont. Yes. So again, you kind of see there that again, like I said, Castlevania is sort of associated with Sony and PlayStation. There, that's what kind of makes sense of why Konami basically said, sure, help us fund, or you give us the money, we'll make Castlevania Requiem PlayStation exclusive, because to some extent, like I said, there have been a lot of exclusive Castlevania game on the PS2. Of course, it's also Nintendo. Just saying there. So, in the end, what do I think about the game? freaking awesome. I might consider getting it. PlayStation 4K trophies for me, and I can do Share Factory. Again, personal opinion only. Should it be multi-platform? Most definitely. I think they'll make money, but it's either, like I said, one or two things. Maybe they needed money. They really need money to make this game, and they can't wait for the sales. Or two, they need resource, and Sony was willing to do it. Again, who knows? I'm just putting it out there. That's just my theory. Because a lot of people complain is, well, why then bother putting Simon and Richter? Well, why put Richter in Smash Brother if it's not really associated with Nintendo? Because he was on a Nintendo console. It was in Dracula X. I know not people know about it, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. Would it make sense if it was Trevor? Probably. I mean, again, he's an Echo Fighter, so I mean, relax, people, dude, relax. Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, because in that particular part, so every time there's a Smash third-party Smash Brother character puts in a Smash Brother game, you kind of get what I'm saying. They're always going to be an exclusive game for the PlayStation 4. Some people have that weird theory, because an example is Snake and Brawl, what was in the PS4. Metal Gear Solid 4, by the way, not really good Metal Gear Solid game. But there you go. And then with Ryu, what was it? Street Fighter 5. Again, Sony's flipping the bill, so what can you do? And now, Richter Belmont, not Simon, but Richter Belmont, what's it on the PlayStation 4 exclusively? Castlevania Requiem. Again, like I said, it's a remake, or not really remake, a remastered version of an old classic, a good game. Okay, so yeah, that's my thoughts about it. And with that, thanks for listening.